Recording. Right.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Lorelei, and everyone. Welcome back to the 15th week of the spiritual journey, the second year with Lorelei. Now, I hope you've had a good week, Lorelei.
Yes, thank you very much. I did indeed.
Can you remember what we looked at last meeting on the 26th of March? Hello. I'm afraid there seems to be a bad connection with Lorelei, but hopefully she can hear me. Okay.
Yes, I can. Yes. Okay.
Okay. We looked at chess pieces, octaves, and
Yes.
moves, and their similarity to the lives of an individual as seen through gold, frankincense, and myrrh, which relates to the gifts we are all born with: a physical life, religious life, and an occult life. Yeah, we can also see that in the cosmic triangle, the positive, and the neutral. Now, we also looked at the falling tower card and sleeping beauty to wake up the inner life with the silver kiss. Yes. So
yes,
on a different subject, how is your electrical vision these days?
Great, good. Yes.
It's good. Do you see things?
Yeah. Yeah. The aura.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. There is a little exercise that you might like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's simply to look at your hand. Yes. And to look around your hand and try and see what is around. Yes.
Oh,
you know, that's very simple.
Electricity.
Okay. So now, the other night I woke up early after midnight and felt energized, but it wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't exactly awake. I thought to myself, "Look at your hand." So I opened my eyes, still half asleep. Yes. I mean, this must have been about 2 o'clock in the morning. I just opened my eyes slightly like this and looked at my hand. Yes. And I could see a bright white light emanating from my hand.
Okay.
Yeah, so I smiled. So I smiled to myself. Went back to sleep. Some hours later, I got up to go to the shower room and looked at the shimmering aura around me. But it wasn't a bright light. I imagine the reason I saw the bright white light was because I was in a semi-dreamlike state where things can be seen that one doesn't see when fully awake. It reminds me of a time about 2004, when I was sleeping in a tent camping in a semi-dreamlike state. I opened my eyes to see a cherubim. Now, cherubim, that's a small baby-like angel. I smiled at that time, and I said mentally to the cherubim, gotcha. Yes? Now, it may have been that the light under my hand, which I saw in my dream, was my etheric that was charged up. I don't know. Now today, I'd also like to mention a subject that I've been researching for over a year, the flat Earth theory. Have you ever looked into the subject?
I did indeed.
You did?
Indeed, yes.
Okay. Now, one of my first reactions some years ago was it's a crazy idea. Everybody knows the Earth is a spinning ball in space. We have proof, photos, and on film. And I thought to myself, whatever you do, don't research flat Earth because you'll find the arguments for flat Earth are convincing. That's what I thought to myself. Don't look at it. It's going to be convincing. Yes? Now, there were a few questions that never seemed to be satisfactorily answered whilst I was growing up. After being told that Australia is on the bottom of a ball Earth. So, first, how did all the air stick to the planet if it is right next to a vacuum? Yes? In space. And then, why is it that the air can be so still on one day and then on another day very blusterous? Surely the spin of the Earth would cause some direct winds all the time. Now, thirdly, I started videoing sun and moon movement, and I said to myself, now you have to imagine the Earth is a ball spinning, and what we see in this, what we see is the sun and the moon passing by over us as we fall backwards, yes, or forwards, whichever way you are oriented. But I couldn't do it. The Earth was always motionless, and my imagination wouldn't convince me I was turning. Yes, it felt as if I was completely still and stationary. I thought, it's impossible to imagine that you're spinning, really. But I also said, don't worry about things that only the scientists can really understand and can explain these things. So the choice was either now that I know that we have been lied to on many subjects, yes, by politicians, should I just accept the reasoning of authorities or scientists, because they all seem to be changing their mind, don't they? Or do my own research to see what I can find out? Now, admittedly, the shape of the Earth doesn't really matter because the reality is always what we see in the atmosphere on Earth. So it doesn't really matter if it's sphere or flat or whatever, triangle. But if the Earth is flat, then why have we been lied to? What could possibly be the reason for such an enormous lie? And how would they do that? You could say it's the mother of all lies. Now, over 40 years ago, I met a man who told me the craters on the moon were in fact growth bubbles, and that contrary to beliefs, the sun is actually cold. But I was left to wonder, there was never mention that the Earth could be flat. I was told a few other things too, which just added to an unsolvable mystery. And that was 40 years ago. Unsolvable until now, that is. The internet allows a much greater range for searching out information at super speed. I've noticed that some people are more open to this subject, whilst others are completely closed and hostile to the suggestion that the world is anything different to what they have been led to believe, a sphere spinning in space. In fact, the whole idea of cognitive dissonance is another area of hot dispute. Here are some examples of cognitive dissonance, which include smoking. Many people smoke even though they know it is harmful to their health. Eating meat. Some people who view themselves as animal lovers eat meat and may feel discomfort when they think where their meat comes from. So, what is it? It's a general discomfort that has no obvious or clear source. It causes confusion, feeling conflicted over a disputed subject matter. The only way to settle the matter for yourself seems to be to do unbiased research from the standpoint that both the models could be a lie. So in the end, you should prove it one way or another for yourself. But one must be worried that there are a lot of convincing lies out there. So now the way I proved it for myself was to verify that sun movements were possible on a flat Earth. Yes, that would be a small sun circling above a flat Earth. Is that possible? So I had to verify that that was possible. That all takes a lot of time because there are so many questions like, what about this or what about that? Can you give an answer? Now, true, I don't have all the answers, but once one has seen the big lie and the truth of it all, one cannot unsee it. All I can do is stand in the truth as I see it. So, any questions, Lorelei, about that subject?
No, I write something.
You did?
Do you hear me? Do you hear me all right now?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say something really explosive. I don't know if it's good or wrong, but I think cognitive dissonance is also when you study at Kane University for I don't know how many years, hoping that some teacher will respect your work at some point and not just steal it or take your ideas for granted and present it as if it's theirs. Also, when you really insist on living in France for the same uh, idea, when it's actually useless, hoping that the president or I don't know what, you know, things happen here.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I mean, I identify myself a lot with this situation. So,
I see.
yeah. No, but your theory is very ancient and it's still actual. I mean, it's very good that you point this out. I think it started with Pythagoras. Right? Am I saying wrong or?
Pythagoras.
Yeah. Is it true or not, or am I wrong? Because
well, yes,
that's
Pythagoras did say that's what they say. Now,
yeah,
the trouble
right.
is,
So there's it's the same. I could make a parallel with like we could say with Darwin theories, you know, with the evolution theory. I mean, then there's this biblical version that, you know, God created the man and then the woman, you know, and the whole story. And then there's Darwin's theory, and this is the same with the flat Earth. You know, it's kind of the same. I think I could make a parallel with what you just said with the same theory with evolution theory and you know the one that God, you know, the biblical one. Let's just call it this way. Yeah. So.
yeah. Well, there are lots of people who investigate flat Earth from
Yeah. Yeah,
from
I know. I know that.
from merely a practical point
But
of view.
I think what is really true is that I mean, we all know, we saw that U.S. government is actually hiring people to investigate um those UFOs and those phenomenon that they just didn't have an explanation for so many years. So I think that we finally, I mean, in this century at least, we have an official position of the US government when it comes to UFOs and other things that were detected in the space. So I guess we can speak about this for sure, that it's a certitude. Now, nobody recognized, I think, officially that the Earth is flat or something like that. But you know, hopefully one day we'll have an official recognition of if, because for now it's just a theory. Yeah, but it was the same with the audience, so I don't know if you're able to hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you fine now.
Okay. Well, does it
Yeah.
make sense what I say?
Yeah, certainly does. Certainly does.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I would love to work for the US government, honestly, to study the UFOs. So I think that's a dream job, but then is it dangerous? Is it what exactly do you have to do, just to stay and watch this?
Well, my
I'm
view
doing that.
my view of UFOs is they are like
Yeah.
some of them are simply hot air balloons that are disguised with to look like UFOs, and they employ anti-gravity technology and all the latest technology. Yeah.
So you don't believe
Well, I certainly believe that that there are UFOs and they do come from other places. But whether they're coming from across a flat plane or whether they're coming from outer space, that's another question. Yes. Um, so that's something we can discuss next time. I think we'll have to finish pretty soon because right, I think I've lost her. Okay, so that's going to be all for me for now, and I'll see you all next time. Yes, hopefully it'll be next week when um, we'll get Lorelei back. Right. Okay. So bye for now. That's David Stanley, the Easter edition on the 9th of April, 2023.